My dad told me he always had a kinship to the battle flag. Always growing up, he knew there was something there, but he couldn't put it together. I called my 97-year-old grandmother, and I asked her, do we have any soldiers in the family? I gave her 3 descriptions. Verde, which means green for modern-day soldier. Blue, azul, or gris, means gray. And she said, mijo, which means my son in Spanish, is gris. It was gray. My great-great-grandfather was named Andres Torres Rodriguez. He was born in Mexico. He was a laborer. And he was an 8th Texas Infantry, and his unit later on got incorporated to the Texas 33rd Cavalry under Santos Benavides, who was the highest Mexican-American Confederate officer. He was a colonel. There was over 13,000 Hispanic soldiers throughout the Confederate States, but out of those 13,000 were 2,500 Tejanos. And it's 2 words combined. Texas in Spanish is Tejas. Mexican in Spanish, Mexicano. You combine both words, Tejano. They contributed a lot for Southern independence. I think that they deserve respect, honor, and dignity under the Confederate flag that they fought for. There was people of color, Mexican people, and other Hispanics, and other people of color that fought in this war. Everyone's reason was different, but primarily they fought in this war for their independence and to protect their homeland. I joined the SCV because I'm extremely proud of my Confederate heritage. I have Confederate DNA. I just want to ensure that the present generation and future generations know and never forget the contributions of Hispanics in the War of Northern Aggression. I am Richard Luna Garcia, the great-great-grandson of Private Andres Torres Rodriguez, a Tejano Confederate soldier.
Oh, just okay. It's Thursday at 7 o'clock, so you know what time it is. It is time for your weekly episode of SCV Chat. Before we get started, please remember, the views and opinions expressed on this broadcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the SCV, its GEC, nor divisions, brigade, camps, or any of the subsidiaries, strictly those expressing them. How is everybody doing in Dixieland tonight? We actually kind of have a relaxed episode tonight, kind of just what I call classic look around almost, simply because we don't really have anything planned right now. So we got a bit of news we can cover, but kind of just gonna be chilling tonight. I do have something somewhat nice planned. I don't know if it will work. We will see. But here's to hoping, you know. Here's to hoping. But we do, as I said, have some news that we'll be talking about. Greetings from the Kentucky Division Commander. You know, we started the show a bit late because I was trying to get the Instagram. For those who don't know, we are live on Instagram now. Instagram doesn't store. It's more of just if people want to, they can watch us on there. But because of that, we started a bit late. So Kentucky Division Commander Kyle Thompson's here on time tonight, checking in. Good to see you, brother. David from Brigade General J.J. Alfred A. Mouton, Camp 778. Past Commander-in-Chief of the Lone Ranger, Chuck McMichael, in the chat. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Let's see here if my surprise has loaded. Replace. Let's not keep that. And let's do a little bit of that. All right. So now we got that fixed. Still under Facebook suspension. Good to see you. Good to see you. Howdy, folks. September 25th, 1789. The United States Congress passed 12 constitutional amendments, the 10 known as the Bills of Rights. Yes, yes, it is. And I think next episode of the Monday show, we'll kind of dive into that. I'm going to talk to someone kind of after tonight. God bless this man. I'm going to be drafting him into helping me Monday. He doesn't really get a choice, but I think the topics that are going to be for Monday's Catechism series continued will fit him perfectly. Whoa. Something. What just happened? Okay. I'm still connected through Facebook. That's why that went through my ear. But I am trying to get together a bit of things ready for Look Around. And of course, the Monday show. As we know, we're still doing the series. So I'm trying to get a guest for that lined up for Monday. And of course, Look Around. It's been a bit slow on news, and as tonight we're kind of just going to be chilling for the most part of this, but I'm going to start bringing in some guests again. We've had so much news lately that I haven't really needed to bring in a guest, so we're going to start bringing in some guests, get some updates from the division leadership, get some updates from some Army leadership, and we're going to kind of get started back with those series, and hopefully that will lead us into December, where, of course, after December, we will be talking to everybody who has announced so far for Army and national positions. Which there's one interview I'm going to have to recluse myself from. Loy from the James M. Keller Camp, 648 in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Of course, speak of him and he shall appear. Army of Tennessee Commander Carl Jones in the chat, Rare Frop, and Faversham. Yes, it is Thursday, and I don't know why, but I've been exhausted all week. I mean, just all week. David, good to see you from the Longstreet Zollicoffer Camp 87. Boyd, good to see you, Boyd, from Camp 2287. Keith, my 5th Brigade Councilman, Keith, good to see you from the 9th Mississippi Camp, 1748. Do not say get 'em Tigers. I will give you a corn dog, David. Hotty toddy. The Colonel Red page, by the way, got some massive PR today. They, the foundation, which are the people that still keep Colonel Reb alive on campus, the students, that organization made a couple posts today and are, wow. One of them's just messing with LSU fans. The other is commenting on the fact that a lot of other student organizations are trying to talk smack about Colonel Reb, and they just put them in their place. But no, this weekend and this weekend alone is usually when me and Chuck McMichael don't talk. He is my family, but we don't talk because it's LSU versus Ole Miss week, and things will be said. And I'm not going to smack talk Chuck because I'm worried about the outcome. And if I can't smack talk an LSU fan, I'd just rather not talk to him. So, yeah, it's not looking good for my Rebels up in northern Mississippi. Dr. Mitchum, always good to see you. Tony Griffin, our Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief. Good to see you, Commander. Let's see here. Brigade General J.J. Alfred A. Mouton Camp 778 is in the chat. Good to see you. Of course, the past Commander-in-Chief, the most sharp-dressed man in the SCV. Paul Gramlin Jr., good to see you, Commander. And has corn dogs ready for supper. Get 'em Tigers. I would say Ole Miss's chant to y'all, but I'll get kicked off the air. Yeah, that's probably not for the best. Steve, good to see you from the Stephen Deal Lee camp of the Caledonia Rifles. 2140. Good to see you, Steve. I think so my personal emails are swamped right now. So I'm glad I saw you, Steve. I think I answered your email. I don't know, though. So anybody trying to contact me, just blow up my email or my texts. That's probably the best way. I'll get to you. I promise. I work 13-hour shifts, and I get off at like 11 at night. So some days 12. So I usually don't have a lot of time to check my email. So please do. But that's still the best way to contact me. Dave, good to see you. I tell people this: I love the spirit of Ole Miss. I don't love the university because of everything that happened while I was there. I can't love what that university's done. But I can still support the spirit of Ole Miss. That's why I only share stuff from the Colonel Red page. Let's see here. You're coming after me, Tony? That's scary. Past Commander in Chief Griffin, not past Commander, Lieutenant Commander Griffin is in Florida right now, and of course we. I do want to put this up here. I love that both sides. So I do, even though, in my opinion, Ole Miss's most heated rivalry is LSU. It is. State is a close second, but that's really only been in recent years. So in my lifetime, I might see that become, in my opinion, more heated. But Ole Miss and LSU have hated each other for close to a century. Our rivalry is deep. The Magnolia Bowl. We don't call the Ole Miss versus State the Magnolia Bowl. We call Ole Miss versus LSU the Magnolia Bowl. So it's a very important game to me every year. And yeah, no, I'll agree with you, Commander Gramlin. I say that, you know, it's okay to boycott, or it's perfectly good to boycott. It's okay not to those support these institutions, but don't forget what these institutions have meant. That's what I mean by, you know, I don't support the University of Mississippi. I support the spirit of that school, because if we win this culture war, I want to see that come back. I don't want to see the downfall of it. I want to see it restored to its proper honor. And I do believe that's possible. And if it's not possible, then I will cut ties. And I say that, you know, the Southerners start trying to create their own school again, their own university. I think that's a solution to a lot of things, is just Southerners go out there and, all right, well, since y'all won't be Southern representations, fine, because it breaks my heart, because Ole Miss used to be referred to as the Harvard of the South. Now I won't give them that title. They don't represent the South. They don't represent our people. And they don't teach history worth of crap. I can attest to that. So I still support Colonel Reb and Dixie, and even Dixie from Dixie with Love. And I know some of our compatriots have a problem with it because it's the battle hymn of the Republic. But my opinion on that is that's us taking the battle hymn of the Republic from Abraham Lincoln it and turning it into something of our own, because he took enough from us. So that's my viewpoint on it. And of course, the battle hymn and stuff like that is, it breaks my heart what happens at Ole Miss. Every day it breaks my heart. That's why I never finished my degree at Ole Miss. I refused to finish my degree at Ole Miss because, to me, a paper from the Institute does not mean as much as it does. But keeping the spirit alive means just as more to me. Making sure my kids know what Ole Miss used to be. But yeah, no, Dr. Mitchum's right. It is a worthy goal. It's a hard goal, but I would love to see the universities come back on our side. And of course, I wouldn't mind the South people getting together and starting universities again and high schools again that honor our heritage, because I think that's part of the way we get it back. But to answer Past Commander Chief Chuck McMichael's thing, don't worry about the game because I'm not confident either. Our defense is what's getting me, and I don't even really watch the games anymore. I've went there twice. That was more, I miss tailgating and seeing Colonel Reb in the Grove and hearing Dixie played. To me, for some reason, hearing Dixie played by a band, a modern band, it hits me right in the heart. And I still sing, you know, the South will rise again during the battle, from Dixie with Love. And don't worry, when I'm at Ole Miss, those are getting played at max volume. And I do miss tailgating with my friends. That was something we did for a lot of years until I just could not stand the universities a lot. And I did harbor a lot of hatred to the university for a while. And now I just realize the history of my beloved school, the heritage, the traditions of my beloved school are under attack by the same thing that's attacking us. And instead of hating the institute for being attacked, I want to fight off the attackers and get the institute back to where it wants to be and needs to be. But yeah, no, our defense is crap. If we played against Oxford High School right now, I'm pretty sure they'd score a touchdown on us. We'd blow them off on offense. Our offense is going great. And I haven't actually watched an LSU game, but y'all are ranked pretty high, so I wouldn't worry as much as I am. I feel like this is going to be a tough game. It's going to be an interesting game. But I actually don't know if I'll be able to watch it because I will be going to an event that we'll be talking about a bit later in the show. Steve, good to see you. I contacted you. Floyd from Camp 648, good to see you. Yeah, like Steve says, likewise, I support the legacy of the Crimson Tide, but not the current institution. And I think that's perfectly fine. He's being founded as one of the founders of. Okay, that's David. I pray for y'all. LSU has forgotten the origins of its namesake, and yeah, no. The sad thing is all these institutions have either that or they're denying it. Like for instance, there's multiple people you can say inspired Colonel Reb, but none of them are a plantation owner. But they say he's a plantation owner. That's just so they get rid of him, say he was racist. And then, but you notice, and I feel like it's coming. They're going to change Ole Miss and Rebels. But I think a lot of schools try to deny their ties to the Southland so they can keep their cool names. They don't want to change their cool names because it makes them money. But you won't embrace the heritage that brought forth that name. Let's see here. Yeah, no, there's a lot of disgrace going on in the university department there, Charles Array. Yeah, no, I will say this. Stark Miller did play a huge part in me kind of coming back to the light, if you will. I'll credit Stark Miller a lot. He is one of the many historians that have helped me on this journey. Probably the first real historian I met outside my father. You know, I'd talked to a couple historians, but I hadn't really met them. I met Stark my freshman year at Ole Miss and was just wowed by the fact that he is single-handedly fighting to preserve the Ole Miss traditions and our history up in Oxford and the history of the university, making sure everybody knows the Confederate ties, our heritage, the UDC's impact, Colonel Reb, everything. Stark has single-handedly, in my opinion, been the major defender up there. And I love Stark to death, and I still learn from him every day. I actually went and saw him last Thursday, I think, because I just want to talk to him. And he, even then, I'm still learning from him. And I take that advice from Dr. Mitchum. I asked Dr. Mitchum because it looks like when I do kind of get back into university to finish my degree in history and hopefully carry on from there to a master's and a PhD, knock on some serious wood there, that I'm going to have to teach myself so I don't end up being brainwashed, because even it can happen to the best of us. I guarantee you all that. I've seen some great Southern supporters go to university and come out, I don't even know what. But I also don't want to make sure I'm wasting my time just to make sure I get a piece of paper. So I'm going to be studying, and I got this from Dr. Mitchum. Learn from as many great historians as you can. And that goes for any field. Learn from as many great people in that field as you can. One cannot have too many teachers because I was asking him, I was like, look, it's pretty much tradition that everybody learns a field from a mentor. You don't just figure it out normally. And I was asking him, I was like, I'm looking for that one mentor. And I can't remember exactly what Dr. Mitchum said, but it was something on the lines of, whoever said you don't learn anything from somebody is a liar, something like that. I gotta find it, Dr. Mitchum. It's one of my favorite quotes from you now. But I don't know if it's still in here anywhere. Those are the books that I keep having ideas to make. I blame Dr. Mitchum and Stark for that too, because I can't stop. Thank y'all for that. I keep coming up with ideas. It's their fault. Let's see here. So many notes. So many notes. Where is it? Because I wrote it down. And that's what I get for writing it down in my phone. Let's see here. Dick nabbit. I could have swore I had this. But I can't remember the exact quote. I'm hoping Dr. Mitchum can chime in and help me out here. But okay, David's got a good one. In the multitude of counsel is wisdom. There was something I said, like, you don't are. There was some famous quote I said, and Dr. Mitchum turned it on its head. And it was something like, I really can't even remember it. I'm drawing a complete blank right now. Chuck says we need a turning point CSA. Chuck, we have one. It's SCV chat. That was part of the main goals of this endeavor, was to get online and do what Turning Point has done. I mean, we talked about this on the Charlie Kirk Memorial episode, which I highly encourage everybody to check out, that along with the rest of our Catechism series. Is Charlie heavily, without knowing it, influenced SCV chat and what we want to do with SCV chat? Because I don't think a lot of people realize SCV chat is just the foundation that we are building something much greater on with me and Connor's ideas and a lot of the ideas we get from other people. It's just one of those things where, it takes a lot of time to build something like that up when you only have, a couple people. That's why we set up the Patreon, so we could get farther with it. And we have, and hopefully I'll be producing something to show y'all, we have gone a good distance and have come far. But that's kind of what this is supposed to be, Commander Michael. This is supposed to be a place where we win debates and we educate and we get out to millions upon millions of people. That's the goal of this. And of course, I think the SCV already has a built-in system for that, where if SCV chat is the hook, getting that fish in the cooler is the SCV, making sure that they stay around people that can teach them and educate them and get them involved in Southern heritage. A wise king has many advisors. No, sir, it wasn't that. Like, it was a quote that you turned around on me, and it meant a lot, because I said something about only having like one mentor or two mentors, and saying that's how it's supposed to be done, something like that. And you said, whoever said that you shouldn't have as many teachers as possible is a fool. You should be studying from as many people as you can. And so it's really affected me. I've reached out and asked Brian McClanahan, some history advice on things to do. Of course, I've talked to Carl, I've talked to you, and of course, Stark Miller. And I'm trying my best to learn as much as I can from y'all. And that's why I always say, if there's any historians out there, I always love talking and getting information, because I'm very humble in the fact that in becoming a historian, I'm still very much in the infancy stage. Now, and I don't really necessarily connect that walk to the SCV. The SCV is its own journey for me. Being a historian to me is a different title. It is a different passion. I think the SCV has a lot of historians, because a lot of historians are very dedicated to historical preservation. But, I never associated having to be a historian to having to being an SCV member. And of course, you don't really, not all of our members are historians. But, I look at it as two different journeys. I have this long journey ahead of me in the SCV, because I'm never going to leave. I'm never going to stop doing stuff in the SCV, and I'll never stop being a historian. But in the world of being a historian, I'm a lot less seasoned. Somewhat in the SCV, I can somewhat tell what I need to do. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm definitely not saying that I don't look to people for, wisdom, advice, advisory. I let us all pray for Carl Jones, because I've blown up Carl's phone before. I know I've blown up multiple people's phones before, being like, hey, what do you think of this idea? Or, hey, do you think I should do this? Hey, do you think this is the right call? So on and so on. I have really, really, leaned on people. So I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I look at it as two different disciplines, if you will. There's being a historian, and there's being a good member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And I'm eager to learn in both of them and grow. Let's see here. We're doing an encore on our social media, the Douglas Southall Freeman Way episode tomorrow night at 8 in the Friends group. Yes, everybody please to go support that. We need to understand social media. That's why I've developed a talk on it. Basically the basics of what it is to get involved. And I think every camp needs to at least be doing the basics in this fight. Because I think we have around 800 camps in this organization. And if you could imagine, if 800 of those camps had decent social media reach, we'd be reaching billions of people. And then if we actually, did a couple things differently, in my opinion, I think we could reach, a couple billion people a year. I mean, heck, just us here at SCV Chat reached 1.6 million. Could you imagine if we had a couple other SCV chats, even if they weren't as big? You start adding those numbers together of reach, all of a sudden, we're getting as much done as our enemies, and without having the millions upon billions of dollars they have in their pockets to make sure they reach those millions. Again, I want to clarify. Social media is not free. It is free to start. It is free to do as long as you want. But in my personal opinion, when you start putting some money, it's like advertising in traditional media. There's probably a couple things you could do for free. But, you're one of your friends at the local newspaper, maybe a radio station. But, if you really want to get your foot in the door and really make some waves, you're going to have to pay for it. And the same thing applies to social media. Social media is the new media. It is replacing the old media. And I know I'll see it in my lifetime where, newspapers, radio are gone. That's just the truth. I'm not saying we need to neglect those areas. I think those areas still have some stuff to give us right now, because we're in a weird point of time. But I will say, if we don't start building on social media, we're already 20 years behind our enemies on social media. We don't want to make it another 20 or 30, because it only just grows and becomes crazier. Because I mean, I consider myself a social media expert. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's the one thing I really feel confident in my knowledge. And yes, I'm self-taught. I don't have a degree in it. I have not done official, classes on it or studied on it. I do plan on taking some, but, I am pretty confident in my ability to do social media. I understand it pretty dead gum well, and I can just tell y'all that we really need to start getting on it. Hey, from England or Liverpool, England. It took me a second. How are you doing, sir? Yes, no. Instagram has reached 3 billion users. I have the statistics somewhere. I might need to update them. Dr. Mitchum says, my philosophy as what a university should be is when a freshman sets foot on campus, he should be bombarded with different ideas from all directions. And I agree with that. You're not going to grow hearing the same ideas over and over again. And that's something I can say. People will, oh, you're just, these neo-Confederates. No, dude, I went to university. I went to college. I've studied history my whole life. I've gotten different viewpoints. This is not, I grew up in a small town and, I just learned it this way. I can actually say I've learned it both ways. I was pretty dead gum good in history at Ole Miss. I heard it from both ways. But yeah, no, it's cool to get someone from England. I know our audience overseas is growing, but usually y'all watch us on repeat. I would be interested, Mr. Edwards, what time is it in England right now? And Carl makes a good point. It's not replacing. It has replaced. Legacy media is hanging on only by government funding. And I mean, you can look at a lot of the radio stations, newspapers, and they are only being held up by government funding. And when that government funding ceases, they're going to shut down. I know, like newspapers, for instance, and small town radios are only hanging on because of the community. I know my newspaper is hanging on because of the community, and they're doing quite well from my understanding. But, if you're talking about national coverage, I mean, look how these massive news sites do their news now. They do it on TV. They do it on, and even TV is becoming obsolete. They do it on websites and stuff like that. And they do it on social media. They've understood that if they stick with newspapers, they're going to die. So I will agree with Carl. It has been replaced. Legacy media is hanging on by a thread. So, that's even more the reason that we need to start getting involved. We're pretty far behind on the 8 ball. And that goes for, all around. Have non-SUV member people ever gotten on here and tried to debate y'all? We've talked about it before. It's tricky because a lot of people that want to come on here and debate are also people that will cuss or say stuff to try to get us kicked off the air. Just not really a lot of civil people, but it is something that is being discussed again. Yes. That is a goal of ours. We just don't know how we're going to do it yet. Yes, school today is full of woke propaganda and propagandists. That's all they're doing. Just being honest. I mean, the history departments are a joke. I've said it on here before. I think the discipline of a historian is being destroyed in front of our eyes, and it's why I have put so much effort into respecting the title of a historian. I'm not just going to call myself that. I'm going to earn that title. And that's simply because it is being destroyed, and it breaks my heart. Derek says he's been out cleaning Confederate graves in Liverpool and putting flags out. It is 1:35 in the morning. 1:35. Wow. Lucky for me, I grew up on military time. Let us all give a round of applause for Mr. Derek. Thank you for coming out, Derek. Thank you. We must get into college classrooms. The only way to fix it is by getting involved. We can't blame colleges for being anti-Southern if we refuse to go into college spaces and be Southern voiced. I agree with that too, Jude. I think a lot of Southern institutes, you'll notice there aren't any real Southern representation. And that's one of the things we need to start getting back slowly. And I do think that what I would love to see, and I know there's like one or two out there, but SEV camps just for college students, just at colleges, you know, and that's all they do. It's just college students being involved. I think that would be a great thing. Chuck says he hasn't worn a newspaper or read a newspaper in at least 10 years. I have read newspapers back in high school because I was required to. I don't really look at it. I've never used it as a source to gain any reading other than, hey, I was in the newspaper. Hey, we did this, we did that. I personally, as I said, I think I put my opinion out there. Social media is where I think we need to be putting a lot of our focus. That's just how I am. I guess I'm a bit biased. I'm not saying, as I said, that there's nothing to be gained from it, but look at Carl here. 6% of the population reads newspaper. Out of those, 85% are 65 to 80. I think that kind of speaks for itself. Yes, Turner Asby-Camp, good to see you out of Virginia. Yeah, no, and see, Commander Gremlin, that's something that we had to have a discussion about was the trolls that just would want to debate us and, as I said, just come up here, cuss up a storm, maybe even say some awful things to make sure that our broadcast is not picked up and we're potentially kicked off the air. The sad truth is when you're working with a live show, there is no editing. There is no bleeping. I know other places are able to do it live, but they're actually on a delay and they have a team of people that are able to edit something. It's just me. So, it would be interesting on how we would do that. I'm looking forward to seeing a debate happen on the show at some point. I know someone had expressed interest in doing it a couple years ago. And this, I'm talking about someone on our side to help SEV chat out. And I'm really looking forward to seeing to bring that back up. I really think now is the time with what happened to Charlie that, let's put the pedal to the metal. And let's speed off. We have a great museum in Liverpool where the last ship of the Confederate Navy came to, and the flag and photos of the ship is still there. Okay, that's awesome. Let's see here. Good to see you, Jack. Charles Ray, again, social media, streaming, YouTube is so important to get for getting our message out. And the more we do that, ChatGPT will be more favorable to us in our calls. Right now, it's not friendly to us at all. Yes. No, I agree. So, people don't really realize this, but AI is making information sometimes from the people who own it, but also from just the internet sources. And if you look at internet sources, we are probably, I wouldn't even say 1/10 of them are us. I would say probably not even 1 out of 10. As I said, it would probably be like 0.5% support us and what really happened. So that's a lot of the reason. But social media streaming, YouTube is extremely important. And that's kind of why I would love to see more done. And I get it. YouTube especially is hard. There's a lot of work that goes into YouTube. You do need a little team at that point. You could have one person doing it, but you need a group of people for at least ideas. Again, I really do hope to see something come over that. Streaming, this streaming, It can be brutal when it comes to your personal schedule and personal life, but streaming is also one of the great things out there you can do. Social media, again, a team is great for that. And you can plan out a month of content if you have a team pretty easily. And bada boom, bada bing. Okay. Steve actually made a good point. We could edit it out or record it, then broadcast it out. Only edit, if they, cuss or say something to try to get us in trouble. That way, it's still an honest debate. We're only, cutting out the parts where they say the F word or something like that. And I wouldn't even say cut. I mean, bleep probably. No, Steve, that's a great idea. Thank you. Dr. Mitchum, do you think Charlie's death is a turning point? Yes, it has to be. If this isn't it, I don't know what is. And I mean that for the U.S. religiously, politically, and heritage-wise. I think that 2026 is a great year for us to hit the ground running. And again, like I've said at the beginning of the show, we don't have anything ready to hit the ground running. So we definitely need to get started. That way we can maximize 2026 to the best of our ability and the years following. So 100% I think Charlie's death is a turning point, because I know it made me really evaluate that I need to try to dedicate even more time to this. I know some people who know my schedule thinking, how can you? And there's a way. But, I do think it's a turning point, yes. In either direction. That's what's scary about it. It could either get worse or it could get better, or it can get worse and get better. I think Charlie's assassination will be a date that will be remembered. Yes. Let's see here. Monument Cops Dixie has made friends with trans people who are willing to have a relationship and respectful conversation about the South. They have Confederate ancestors and are looking to put a monument into a cemetery to honor them. They do oppose our monuments in public, but that's what makes the debate interesting. Yeah, no, honest debate. And, the Southern philosophy is basically just, let me do me and I'll let you do you. No government interference. I think it would equal more peace and harmony. But that's interesting. Yeah, no, wanting to put up a monument and then, at least they say they want to have a respectful debate. That's phenomenal for MAD. Y'all keep up the great work. Oh, wow. I didn't know this. Apparently the UK is better than us. His grandkids done a history project on Robert E. Lee in school, so he gave them flags to take in and my Confederate uniform. Wow, that would not fly in the South. That wouldn't fly in the North. That wouldn't fly in the West. That wouldn't fly anywhere over here. That is crazy. Wow. Yeah, Derek, y'all need to keep up the good fight over there. It sounds like y'all already got a leg up on us. We need to play catch up. Oh, gosh. But, yeah, no, I think we kind of covered everybody's comments. You can still keep putting in comments. As I said, we don't really have a lot of news. I will take a quick commercial break while y'all are getting your comments ready. And, of course, this commercial break is sponsored by let me actually make sure my commercial break loaded in. Yeah, it did. Let's see here. All right. This commercial break is sponsored by scvchat.com. If you want to learn more about the SCV Chat crew, our shows, and so on, please go check out scvchat.com. We have archived episodes, some of our favorite. You can watch the episodes live there. You can check out our stores, our Patreon. So much is on the website. And, of course, if you want to help us out on Patreon and make sure we reclaim the narrative every day. And, of course, tonight the Patreon will be getting a poll and a video And I'm kind of going to be asking y'all's opinion on something that will heavily influence the product that we're making, that we said that we were going to be making with the Patreon money. So please go check it out sometime after the show. But yeah, for $2.50 a month, you can feed a moose. That's just general support. For $10 a month, you can get your name at the end credits of every episode, help us reclaim the narrative. You get behind the scene content, exclusive show, and so much more that we're working on right now. Of course, $30 a month for merch tier. You get exclusive merchandise that no one else will get, not even us here at chat. It will only be y'all. And of course, for $80 a month, you can sponsor the show like Dr. Cummins. So Dr. Chris Cummins is a doctor up in Oxford, Mississippi. If you're feeling down and you need some help, you haven't been eating your apples and you need to go see the doctor, go check out Dr. Chris Cummins, because he'll make you feel well and he will treat you right with some good old Southern hospitality. And especially if you got some knee pain, he can help you out with that. So definitely go check out Dr. Chris Cummins, and we will be right back after this commercial break.
There is a place nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost. Stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
Welcome back. Again, that commercial break is sponsored by scvchat.com, scvchat on Patreon, and Dr. Chris Cummins, MD. If you are in the Oxford region and need just a good Southern doctor you can trust, go check out Dr. Chris Cummins. All right, everybody. We got a couple things, and we'll kind of get into the news. Yes, Dr. Chris Cummins was a surgeon-in-chief, and he was Commander Paul Gramlin's surgeon-in-chief when he was commander-in-chief. We're lucky to work with him a good bit in Oxford. I want to thank Jack real quick. Jack said, SCV Chat is a great thing for the SCV. I commend SCV Chat for its efforts and what it takes, especially in the younger generation. And I want to say, just a couple things. I'm not putting this up here just to blow up my ego, but first off, thank you, Jack. Second off is us trying to get the younger generation in, inspire them with what I have started deeming a Southern entertainment. SCV Chat was never meant to be a super serious show. I'm going to blow some bubbles here. We weren't meant to always be in suits and always acting official. That's Commander's comments. That's, if you like that, that's Commander comments. But, and we also working on other stuff that is serious, that we will be in suits for, but SCV Chat was always designed with the younger audience in mind, and that's why we have the Southern entertainment tagline that I've came up with. It's educational, it's Southern positive, it's the thing that Southern people have lost in media. You know, you look at the late night show, you look at television, you look at Fox, you look at all these people, and they're not really friendly to the South. That's what we were supposed to be, while also being entertaining and bringing common people in that maybe don't understand us, and they can laugh, they can smile, they can feel a part of a community here, which is our chat heads. And we have an awesome group of chat heads that make up our community. And you feel entertained, you have a good time, maybe just for 1 hour every Monday, and every Thursday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Friday, Sunday. You can sit down and feel connected to something, to entertain, to get your mind off the worries of the world, and be proud of being Southern. That was what SCV Chat is meant to be. As I said, SCV Chat, though, is just the foundation. We're going to be doing a lot of other stuff. A lot of stuff is going to be serious. A lot of stuff is going to continue with the same thing that you've loved us for the past 5 years. As you know, John has called it, is the SCV Chat Network. You know, someone asked if they were supposed to have access to that on the website. Not yet. The reason that is we're hoping to be a full-on channel almost, where you have something going on almost every hour that you can flip on, and you can say, okay, you know, I'm going to watch this, but you know, it's 7 on a Monday. Okay, here's SCV Chat. You know, you could be watching stuff all day, but you know, here's the show I like. You know, here's other shows, and that's kind of what we want to do, or hope to do. But also, you know, as I said, if you think we're doing a good bit of work now, just wait. I stand by the firm belief that we are just getting started. I have high hopes for what this can be. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure it happens. I know Connor is too, and the people that help us are too. I think SCV Chat could be the media connection that the SCV needs. I believe we could be the building block. I believe in all that. Again, I've said on the show before, we were the first live show. You know, we were the first TV show. There were segments, there were interviews, there was, you know, serious stuff, but we were the first TV show. And, you know, and the first live one. And the reason we did it like that is because we wanted it to feel like, yeah, you were coming in with your friends and sitting down and watching something. You know, and I've said it before, you know, every TV show ends, but the work that we're doing at SCV Chat will never end, because we continue. We've thought 10 years down the road on this. I can't reveal what all we've thought about, but, you know, we have big things. Y'all should contact every camp commander in Mississippi, invite them on for a chat. Steve, I would love to, but SCV Chat isn't just for one division. It's for all the divisions, all the armies, all the camps. And there are 800 camps. I'd love to bring on everybody. But what I would recommend more is, you know, Mississippi doing something similar to Look Around Florida, to Look Around, Tennessee Tuesdays. I would like to help other people that are thinking about doing that. You know, I know someone reached out. I won't tell you who they are or who they represent, but someone reached out and was like, would y'all help? And I was like, I haven't answered back yet, but yeah, the answer is yes, of course. We want there to be as many shows as possible. Yeah, no, a special segment would be cool. By bringing, you know, multiple camp commanders on to talk. I'd love to do it. I mean, if I think it's possible, I'll definitely try to do it. I've brought camps on here before to talk about projects, division commanders. You know, I think I've been very open with, if you think you have a good camp project, or not even a good, but a camp project, and you want to come on and talk about it, you know, just email us at scyouthoutreach@gmail.com. We'll talk to you for a bit, kind of explain the rules of live television, and, you know, how long you would have and stuff like that, all the kind of details. So, yeah, no, email us. But it is time to dive into some of the news real quick. So I do want to talk about the news that was sent in. And of course, some of this is just covering what we've already talked about. But the Northwest Brigade of the Missouri Division of the Sons of Confederate Veterans is hosting a Confederate picnic and revival starting at 10 a.m. on October 4th in Richmond, Missouri. Lunch is free. The guest speaker is past National SCV Chaplain-in-Chief John Weaver. Your Confederate ancestor would have attended this. Please contact the Missouri Division Chaplain Thomas for more information and to our VSVP. Of course, the first session will be on the biblical philosophy of history, and the revival in the Southern armies will be the second session. You are encouraged to bring your Bibles. Vendors will not be allowed at this time, as this is a time to come and listen. Southern fashion picnic will be provided. And I just think this is a great thing. I've talked about this a lot of times. This is just a phenomenal idea and something that we should do as the SCV. I just love seeing it because I think I know there was a good revival for Southern troopers, and I think it'd be great to just see that come back. So hats off to the Missouri Division, the Northwest Brigade. Y'all keep up the great work and let me know how it goes. It was good to see you, Derek. Thank you for coming on. Thank you, Alan. Jack, I hope you win. Jack is running for camp commander, guys. I'm not, we can't, endorse anybody on the show, but, Jack is 28 years old. Jack, you're only just 2 years older than me, man. And he really wants to get involved in his camp. So Jack, you keep it on, man. Keep it on. Yeah, no, we need people running. We need people excited. We need new ideas. And thank you again for your kind words. The Missouri Division will host its annual reunion March. Oh, wait, no, I got a flyer for this one. I almost forgot. The Missouri Division will host its annual reunion on March 27th through the 28th in 2026 in Carthage, Missouri. I believe the theme is Surrender is Not an Option, which is the perfect theme for a reunion right now. So please make sure to go if you're in the Missouri area. Well, first off, if you're in the division, please go to your division reunion. But if you're in a surrounding division or someone that just wants to make a trip, I definitely would recommend going to the Missouri Division reunion. I have went out to a couple events out there. Great people. And again, it's always good to learn from other divisions and other camps. I know a lot of my ideas that I'm implementing on my brigade as 5th Brigade Commander and as Camp 255 Commander of the Samuel H. Poe Camp. I've gotten from other people. I'm not a genius. Trust me. I looked at Connor and said, I don't know how to say no smoking in the elevator when no Fumar was in a giant red plaque right next to me. I'm not a genius. I'm just not. God didn't give me that ability. But I have went to a lot of camps that have had great ideas, and I want to see them implemented, so I do it. So definitely go check out other divisions. Go check out other camps. Please. And this is where I will be this weekend, is the Admiral Sims Monument dedication in Spanish Fort, Alabama. It will be at 2 p.m. I would recommend getting there a bit sooner, though. Park at the Piggly Wiggly. Shuttle services start at 12:30. Please bring a camping chair, as seating will not be provided. Ushers will direct the audience to a viewing area. So, yes, please make sure to go check that out. And I hope they have a great time. I know I cannot wait to be there. This is just going to be a historic occasion that I'm blessed to be at. So definitely, if you're not doing anything Saturday and you're close to Alabama, you're in Alabama, you're in Mississippi, or you just need to go because you're a loving Southern patriot, go check out the Admiral Sims Monument rededication. Next bit of news is we move on to the Army of Trans-Mississippi. As the Army of Trans-Mississippi will have a field day Saturday, April 18th, 2026. This year's event, they will be returning to Mansfield Battle Park in Mansfield, Louisiana. This year's program will focus on the role of troops from Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, as well as partisan troops in the Red River campaign. So plan to spend a day celebrating our honorable history and heritage. There will be speakers, food, fellowship, games, and music. So please make sure to go check out the Army of Trans-Mississippi Field Day, Saturday, April 18th, 2026. Yes, ATM. Y'all keep up the great work over there. Now, our next bit of news, let's see here, is going to be in Tennessee. As you know, an upcoming event for the Bradford Rose Camp in Maristown, Tennessee, is coming up, and the pictures of a pad for our monument, which is set to be finished in 2026 for the Tennessee Division reunion. Here is Jody standing on top of the pavement for the monument. Congratulations, brother. Y'all have done a great job in getting this monument together. And send us pictures when you guys get it up, please. And, of course, this is the event he was talking about, the Remember Me event. Footpaths of History Cemetery Walk will be October 18th from 7 to 9:30 p.m. at historic Bethesda Presbyterian Church and Cemetery. I don't know if I said that right. This is what I said. I'm not smart. I can't even pronounce whatever that is. Admission is $5. Kids 13 under get in for free. Proceeds go to preserve the church. And our last bit of news, we're going to take us to the great state of Louisiana, as the members of the Lieutenant General Richard Taylor Camp, 1308 of Shreveport, Louisiana, presented a program on antebellum and Confederate music at Mansfield State Battle Park in Mansfield, Louisiana. Of course, sitting from left to right is Past Commander-in-Chief Chuck Michael, Mr. Ron, Past Commander-in-Chief Paul Gramlin, and Mr. Wilbur. So thank you, gentlemen, for doing that. Keep up the great work. I would have loved to hear that program. That's an interesting program. That sounds like it'd be very interesting. Y'all are going to have to tell it to me next time I see you, commanders. One of y'all. I'll get one of y'all to. Either Commander McMichael or Commander Amlin. One of y'all going to do it to me. I want to hear more because you have my interest. If you can come do it for my camp for free, hey, let me know. I'll put you down for my November meeting. It's trivia night, the November meeting. So my camp voted to have fellowship meetings and then work meetings. So split it up. We're going to meet 11 times a year. We're going to take December off to spend time with our family and worship Jesus. But fellowship meetings are kind of like, fun get-togethers where, you can hopefully invite, everybody, and you can get the hook in. See, look, the Southern family we have here. We'd like to invite you in it. And work meetings are, of course, just taking care of business of the camp and having historical speakers or so on and so on. I'm going to try to see if I can con y'all in for free because I have no money. But you can ask Jason. Jason came down to speak for my camp. I gave Jason a great handshake. Past Commander, First Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief Tony Griffin said, "We just had 3 members from the Missouri Division help install 3 stones that they sponsored last weekend." Great. Ask them to send in pictures. I love seeing pictures. Make sure they send in stuff so we can see it. I want to give those men and the pat on the back they deserved for doing this, and also the men that they installed the stones for. Let's make sure their name aren't forgotten. Let's send it in. All right, everybody. That is all the news. So I want to thank y'all for watching. Don't leave just yet because I have a special video playing at the end of this. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to share this episode out and tune in to the Friends of the Douglas Southall Freeman group tomorrow, and History with Hardy Sunday. And, of course, make sure to tune in to SCV Chat Monday at 7 p.m. Confederate Standard Times. Make sure to send your pictures, short videos, and write-ups to scvyouthoutoutreach@gmail.com, and you'll be featured on the upcoming episode of Look Around the Confederation. Thank you all for watching. This will be my part where I say goodbye, but again, please watch because I finally fixed the Moose Mania video. So we're going to play the Moose Mania video. I'm going to pray my little heart out that it didn't glitch again. And here we go. So thank y'all for watching. And remember to stay Southern, my friends. Good night.
Attempts our rights to mar. We hoist on high the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah, for Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah, for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. First Gowan, South Carolina, nobly made the stand. Then came Alabama and took her by the hand. Next quickly Mississippi, Georgia and Florida, all raised on high the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah, for Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah, for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Faithful to her trust, like friends and brethren, kind were we and just. But now when northern treachery attempts our rights to mar, we hoist on high the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah, for Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah, for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. First Gowan, South Carolina, nobly made the stand. Then came Alabama and took her by the hand. Next quickly Mississippi, Georgia and Florida, all raised on high the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah, for Southern